Welcome. Another episode of Pels in the Blender. Davis coming to y'all on this Thursday evening, man. The first day of the new year. You know what I mean? Happy New Year to everybody. Appreciate y'all. For those who made it to 2025, welcome to 2026. For those of y'all that lost people in 2025, man, sorry about that. Sorry about y'all losses, man. Peace and blessings to y'all and y'all families for sure. But welcome to another episode, man. And again, we in 2026, the start of a new year. You know what I mean? We're gonna go ahead and try and kick this off right. Man, things get crazy at the end of the year. So I have been busy with all of these, with work and whatnot. Had to get school situated, so wasn't able to get these episodes out as much as I would like. But new year, you know what I mean? We back rolling. Whoa, appreciate you, Mike. Tapping in. Appreciate you, Jaden, tapping in too, bro. Happy New Year's. Team has really regressed outside of Z and Poole. Also heard Joe and Troy will pick their own coach and not stick with Borrego. I mean, whoa, Happy New Year, Just appreciate you. Happy New Year. Again, appreciate the content. Always, man. Always. You know what? Let's start there. Actually, let's start there. It's been a lot going on, man. These last couple weeks. The last month, I guess you could say, has really been a true roller coaster, right? When JB, when Willie first got fired, right? When Willie first got fired and JB took over, it was like a relief amongst the fan base, amongst the team, and everything, right? And everybody was like, okay, give it some time and we'll see what we have. And again, it's still, I don't want to say early in the season, but like it's JB been around now since when did Willie get fired? Willie got fired in November? No, October. No. Season started in October. Season started at the end of October. Willie got fired. Yeah, November. Willie got fired in November. So JB been here almost what? Almost two months now? Almost 2 full months on top of the time that he been here with the team the past 3 seasons and stuff like that. But when JB took over, right, it was like a sigh of relief. It's like, finally, we got a coach. Okay. And everybody understands that it's going to take time. You learn on the fly. It's a lot going on. And everybody kind of understood that the roster wasn't or isn't, not wasn't, more so isn't the greatest roster, right? And it's not that the team don't have talent per se, but everybody felt like the talent wasn't being utilized properly. They weren't playing the right styles. They were quitting on the coach. It was a bunch going on, right? So it was like, man, look, we're gonna finally get an offensive guy to run the offense the way we want. You know what I mean? Come in, speed the pace up, actually get us some sets, and play Derek Queen. Just play the people that's supposed to be played, fix the rotations, call timeouts. All of the stuff that everybody had been asking for, all the things that we've been asking for. Now, the thing that's crazy about it is he's done some of those things, and it still don't matter. Just being honest, it still don't matter. He's come in and done some of the things that you want, but this team is just not good. It's just not good. Like, the team is not good for whatever reason. They don't mesh well together. They don't. And before I move into the players, let me stick with the coaching, because again, I'm of the mindset that just kind of like, if you want to give, if Joe Dumas wants to give JB and them the rest of the season to do whatever it is they're gonna do, cool. And the reason I'm like that is because at the end of the season, no matter how it goes, everything is gonna sort itself out to where you won't have any questions at the end of the season what's going on. Like, if by the end of the season it continues to go like this and they decide to move on from James Borrego, there's not gonna be anybody asking questions saying, why did they move on? Whoa, what's good, people? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody, man. Appreciate y'all. I did believe in JB at first, but now, man, Coach JB, he ain't it. was already soft and weak with Willie Green. Now this team is more soft and weak with JB than it already was. Really? You think they're more soft and weak? That's crazy. So here's the question that I asked, because when you look at JB, they've been better offensively. But that also comes with getting healthier, right? Like with Zion being healthier, with Jordan Poole finally looking somewhat okay, and he's still a ways away, and still not himself, right? Or not playing like what he's historically played. Like, I don't want to say not himself, but man, like I could see, respectfully, I could see Willie Green do this job. You know what I mean? Like, and as people want to talk about like the development of the players and stuff like that, like Willie Green wasn't necessarily playing Derek Queen, but if I'm not mistaken, Derek Queen had a good game or two under Willie Green, right? I don't know. Like, I don't want to say JB is as bad as Willie Green. I don't believe that necessarily, but other than like the offensive uptick, and like other than that, like what has he done? You know, I guess you could say the team hasn't fully quit on him, you know, and they're playing harder, because they are playing harder consistently. You don't just see like the effortless blowouts. You know what I mean? You could tell that they absolutely, it felt like they just hated Willie Green. And I do think they did JB a disservice going into the season like this. But, and again, I guess you could give it time, but I don't know, after these last few games, I don't want to see this coaching staff anymore, bro. It's the whole staff. I said, listen, I presented this idea or thought about that because my thought was, is even if JB does a good job, right? Whatever we consider a good job, and there's still a lot of season left, but listen, man, in 2026, we coming with all truth. All of the optimism is out the door right now. All of the optimism is out the door. All of the things that I thought this team would be, even though they look somewhat better, they're still doing some of the same things that and I don't know if it's necessarily roster construction, everybody necessarily being held accountable. I don't know. I'm questioning a lot of decisions that I think JB is making based with the team and whatnot, that have me ready to say I don't want to see the whole coaching staff. But my initial thought was if JB was retained, would you want to see him remove the rest of the coaching staff and maybe bring in his own people to kind of help shore up some things, right? Maybe his own defensive guy, another offensive guy, something like that. But at this point, I don't know, because this is, I mean, I don't know. It's like it's peaks and valleys, like with this team. But like the peak is like 5 game, like let's say a 5-game win streak against bad teams, or like really close losses. But the valleys, man, like the bottoms are like really, really bad in my opinion. Like I don't think you could lose some of the games that they've been losing when you've had relatively healthy players playing, you know, kind of okay. Like I think they just find themselves in games or losing games that shouldn't even be a consideration for them to lose, in my opinion. This team run too much ISO ball. This team run too much zone on defense. This team is predictable with what they're doing. So I've been complaining about the ISO ball thing, because that was one of the things that we thought that bringing in James Borrego would be something that they got away from. And you can see in stretches that they do kind of get away from it. And it was like, I constantly come to the point where I personally think, and I think I don't want to say a lazy way of coaching, but I think the players have too much, like I've been saying this, man, these dudes have too much freedom. They haven't been there. There is no established hierarchy. There is no, and I don't think the hierarchy is established starting off with, appreciate y'all, man. Everybody, yeah, definitely hit the like button, man. Definitely hit the like button. I think Joe, the new this year, was a tank, force coaches to play the rooks and have them ready for next season. I don't believe that, to be honest. I don't think Joe. I think Joe wanted Queen, which is why he traded away the pick. But you can't believe with the players that they had, and like Zion coming in shape, and historically what the Pelicans have done, you couldn't believe that they were going to be this bad. Like 8-27. There was no way you thought they were going to be this bad. And I don't necessarily think Joe is forcing them to play the rookies, but you kind of torn. And this is the part that honestly, this is the part where I have the biggest question about Borrego right now. I've always been of the mindset that Fear specifically, I think, was better served coming off the bench. Right? Queen, I think, because of your size and your lack of versatility with the big men, I think Queen definitely could start. And Queen has shown, like, both of the rookies have shown to be pretty good, even though we'll get into some of the questions that we have with them and some of their flaws that's showing lately over the last couple games. And a lot of people saying, it's the rookie wall and all of that. Some of that's to be expected. But at the same time, some of this is causing like real concerns with the rookies. But we'll get into that in a second. My main reason for not, and I don't want to say not wanting to retain James Borrego, but I think I'm ready for the clean sweep of everything. But the main reason is because I thought he understood. I'm not saying he don't understand or know the game or whatever. I don't know what's going on, but I just felt like he was going to come with order and like kind of a little bit more of a disciplinarian that they need. Like, no, this person needs to shoot the ball, like the hierarchy that we talked about, even from the starting lineup. Like, if you wanted to bring Z off the bench, because of the minutes restriction and stuff like that, that's cool. But at the same time, dog, like, Fears being a rookie and like being the starting point guard, like, realistically, I think that job should have been given back to Jordan Poole when Jordan Poole was healthy. If the plan was to bring Jordan Poole off the bench this entire time, what was the point of starting him in the preseason or like starting him in the first couple games? Like, I think they went away from whatever it was, the plan was that they were working on this entire time, went away from it immediately. Right. So that's already no belief in what it is that you thought you were doing. And then two, most of your, like, even if Fears and Queen are only playing, I don't know, what are they averaging, like 20 minutes a game, something like that. 20 is not like they're out there for 35 minutes a game or nothing like that. Hold on for a second. Hold on, let me look. Fears is averaging 26 minutes per game, and Queen, so they both right at around 25, 26 minutes a game. 25, 26 minutes a game. So it's kind of like, why, like, that don't mean that they can't be helpful, but why did you go away from what it was that you thought you were going to be doing all season anyway? Like, you could have went right back, and I understand Herb hurt, but you could have went right back to the lineups that you had that had played all of the time, all of these years together previously. The Z Trey Herb, Missy technically was a starter last season, and just replaced Poole for CJ. Like, that form of lineup has some kind of chemistry. So if you had like a new coach being able to work through that and let your rookies and stuff work in, like, I think that's also part of why the team is performing so bad. Like, I don't think they're being maximized. I don't think they're being utilized properly, on top of like the roster flaws. The shooting is awful. Everybody know we can't shoot. And then at the end of the day, we don't, again, I thought we would see a consistent game plan from game to game, a consistent something that we did from game to game. I just personally don't see that. I just don't see that. So I don't know, like, to go back to this comment, I don't know if Joe knew the year was a tank and came in and said, hey man, you got to play the rookies. I don't think he did that. I kind of believe him when he was like, I'm gonna give both coaches the free reign to do whatever it is they want to do. And I just think that they're showing who they are. I think they're showing who they are. And it's looking more and more like you need to, and this is the thing too, because historically Willie Green has proven not to, it was his first job and stuff like that. But like as of right now, Willie Green has proven not to be a great coach. James Borrego, while he's had some success offensively, right? He hasn't proven to be like a winning coach or something like that. Like he don't have like a plus record, right? So we don't even know if like the moves that are being made are the moves that like a winning coach would do, or like how a winning coach would approach this roster or like approach the scheme overall. So kind of like we just kind of assuming, man, and just what it is that JB is doing. I just don't. Maybe he's doing the best he can, but like, what's the best you can if like it? And I don't want to just say he's bad, but like being better than Willie does not mean you're good, if that makes sense, right? This team needs a coach that's a winner to change the culture that can show them how to win. The Pels don't know how to win. They don't. The Brandon Ingram statement at the end of that season just continues to ring true, and that like they won all of those games all talent. Like all talent. Found some chemistry, but it showed then like why they couldn't close, kept getting walked down in games, kept blowing leads. Like there's very little room for error to win in the NBA. And when teams around the league get the book out on your team and they know how to beat you, that's how you quickly become a good team or up and coming team to, oh, this dude can't do this. This team is, oh, they soft. Oh, just apply some pressure and they'll blow it. They can, like, and then that's just the way it is. Then it becomes a formula, and until you do something about it, that's just the way it is. It's crazy because we are competitive in these last few games. It's close, but we can't close. So this is the thing that's crazy about that. Like, and that's why I say you might have an upgrade from Willie Green because they're not getting blown out, right? Strategically, they're better in that sense. Like the product is entertaining, right? The product is entertaining, but I just don't. Even still, I don't think they're fully being maximized. I don't think they're being maximized at all. The Jordan Poole experiment, wow, absolutely. Whoa, what's good, Chaz, bro? Borrego trash. You just throwing it out there. Like, how trash? Like, because Willie hella trash. And the thing about JB is like, that's the thing. Just because you better than Willie, who's bottom tier, right? Willie's like, I don't know if Willie will get another opportunity in the league. Like that type of bad, right? He was a really likable, so maybe, but I don't think anybody's gonna call Willie Green and give Willie Green another coaching opportunity. James Borrego's reputation had been for offense and everything, and he got some interviews and got some looks, but I don't know if what he's producing right now, it might keep him from getting another head coaching job, and at most he might be a number 2 somewhere unless something incredible happens. Because right now, shout out to Chaz, like I don't think he's performed well at all. And again, you could say it's the roster, but I don't think while you're pushing buttons, and Chaz, shout out to you, Chaz, for you constantly mentioning this. Well, appreciate y'all hopping in the chat and Happy New Year to everybody. But Chaz mentions this a lot, bro. Like JB overcorrects. He overcorrects a lot. Like 1 minute, like, and then my thing about overcorrecting is you've never tried the things that felt obvious, in my opinion. Like the obvious thing would have been, let me start all my best players, right? Let me start, even if you're gonna start Queen, let me start Poole, Z, Trey, like the people that have historically played in this league and had some kind of success, and let me play them extended minutes and see what happens. And then after that, like, okay, then let me play Sadiq Bey. But no, or let me try the 2 big lineups. But then you see 1 minute Missy's not playing. Like there was the stretch where Missy wasn't playing at all. And then Carlo wasn't playing for 3 quarters, but then played a whole 4th. And it was like, oh, well, we going with the hot lineup. And to a degree that works from game to game, but at the same time, that's no plan. This team needs a plan. Like they need structure. They need somebody to come in and say, this is what we're doing and this is how we'll get it done. Not just kind of like, all right, we just gonna play with pace. We still can't stop the turnovers. They still can't get back on defense. Like, some of it is skill and talent, don't get me wrong, but a lot of it, in my opinion, is just them not overemphasizing it. And like, again, I don't know how much of it technically is JB fault, but if you go back to like the Spurs way, right? The Spurs way, which was like, bro, you would see Pop sub out a whole unit if they weren't getting back on defense. Like, you don't see none of that, them emphasizing that you're not gonna play. Now that you might see Queen get benched or something like that, but even still, even if you're gonna not like this, and also like it's like picking and choosing sometimes, because sometimes you're a bench Queen, but at the same time, or sometimes you're a bench Fizz, but then you come back and play them in like some of the worst time, like some of the worst moments, or you keep them in for too long, and then sometimes you don't know when to bring people back. Like, that's the stuff that I just don't understand. Like, it's kind of crazy to me, and I think it's costing you games. Like, it's been a couple of these games that you've lost that's been winnable, that you talking about like minor adjustments, man. And you like right now they 8-20. What are they? 8-27. You literally could have 10 to 12, at least 10 to 12 wins right now with just some minor adjustments. What I mean by this team being soft and weak, this team cannot stop a nosebleed or a rock on the sandbox with this defense, man. They don't know what they're doing. They're stupid on defense. I question the IQ. The problem is the top three players on the team never had a good game together. If Poole and Zion scoring, Trey doesn't. If Trey and Zion scoring, Poole having a bad game. But again, they don't play together. If you remember in the beginning of the season, like Willie Green just was terrible with the rotations, and he was sitting Poole for extended minutes. But, bro, by game 2, I think it was game 2, Herb Jones just got too much love, because the game against the Spurs, Z had what, 29, Poole had 21, Trey had 20 something or something like that. So like, they were trying to figure it out, but they really haven't had any true consistent reps together. Like, and at this point, they're not even running none of the same stuff they was running, not like back then. You know what I mean? Like, I think we just, and again, it's part of Z being healthy, but we just starting to see some of like the point Z stuff. So I don't know, man. Like, the things that I wanted to see from the team, from the coaching aspect, like, they've improved offensively, and they're more entertaining to watch. But this shit's still a roller coaster, dog. Like, this is still up and down from game to game. You don't know what the rotation's gonna be. You don't know what the lineup gonna be. You don't know what defense we gonna play. You don't know if we playing man, if we playing zone. Like, you just don't know. The one thing you do know is they not gonna shoot threes, or they gonna get outscored from the 3-point line. Like, that's the one thing we know. So that's I don't know, man. That shit kind of crazy. Let's see. I think teams uptick coincided with them getting healthy, and the threat of Poole along the perimeter also a softer spot in the schedule. It's the perfect storm. So, and again, shout out to you, Chaz. It's kind of like, could Willie Green have done this? Right? Like, it might have looked different, but Willie Green has stretches where he's won, you know what I mean? 1, 2 or 3 games, 4 or 5 games. Willie was the coach for the 49 win season. For whatever we want to say, and that team probably had more talent on it, but he did it, right? I'm looking at, so JB right now is 6-17. 6-17, and they've also gotten they got healthier. Like, Z's back, right, and looking more like Z. Poole, terrible. Like, our decision making as a team is awful. Like, I was about to throw Poole under the bus for a second, but it ain't just JP, man. JP have some moments throughout the games where he's erratic and all over the place. Don't get me wrong, but again, like, it's similar to what, in my opinion, it's similar to like what Ant said with the Team USA stuff. Like, if I'm JP, dog, like, why am I not starting over Jeremiah Fizz? Respectfully. And then, like, you, like, coming into the games or whatever, yeah, he's done the coming off the bench stuff, but you coming into the game and you gotta like immediately trying to get into some kind of scoring rhythm, or like you have to immediately go into a different mode as opposed to when you know what I mean? Like when you're starting the game, like when you start the games and stuff is different. I just don't believe that we starting all our best players. And I like Jeremiah Fierce, and I think he's done a good job as a rookie, but I just don't think that they're maximizing the roster, and that's what's costing you these games. Now, some people lean to if you eight and whatever, it don't matter. You might as well play the rookies anyway. Well, if that's the case, if that's what we're doing, then let's get everybody the hell up out of here and go get some rookies that we could play. Pick the pad, get rid of everybody, and let's go all in on the rebuild. If that's not the case, and James Borrego is still trying to win these games, especially since Fizz has been struggling recently, like with Fizz struggling recently, like why wouldn't you play JP? Like why wouldn't you start him? And you looking to see what everybody else is looking like off the bench. Why not see what Fizz looks like off the bench? Right? You knew what the offense was like when you was playing through Queen, and Queen, like, bruh. And that's why I think we call Chaz like the Nostradamus. Chaz said this back in Summer League that when Queen doesn't touch the ball, he's not as engaged, right? And I think you start seeing a lot of that still. Like you have questions about the motor, the defense is awful. I mean, the defense is awful for damn near everybody. And like, even when Herb Jones is available, Herb wasn't playing. He had a couple good games where he played solid defense, but like even Herb's defense has been questionable throughout the season. So if nobody's playing defense, like it's definitely bad for Queen, but it's even worse when he's not getting in, when he's not, like when the offense is not running through him and when he's not engaged on that side of the ball. So I just don't understand. I just don't understand why the way to maximize the talent on the roster, and you're willing to make certain moves, like you're willing to not play Looney, right? And I don't know how much you believe Joe Dumars when he said it, but in the interview when they first made the move, he was like, "Look, I don't want to tell JB what to do at all. I'm giving you free reign to coach this team however you choose." If that's the case, why do you feel not playing two bigs is the best route for a team that still gets dominated on the boards consistently? Like we're consistently smaller than most teams. We're consistently getting out rebounded, right? Like why wouldn't you just try the two bigs and just like you ain't got nothing to lose? You already bad. Just try it and see. That's one of those things, man. Looney was nice on the boards versus the Knicks, but no Carlo minutes. We needed shooters and no Carlo minutes. He looked available too, and that's the problem. That's the problem. He's talking about the overcorrecting. Like, bro, you could play anybody. You could play anybody, but again, they still haven't formed. They haven't formed an identity, and with them not forming an identity, I honestly think it's harder for the players to get into some kind of rhythm. You don't know how you playing from game to game. Like you don't know what you're doing from game to game. That shit whack. Wild part about the report on Borrego's entire tenure. It's never his fault or responsibility. The team wins, he gets the praise. Team loses, the player's fault. With the same energy earlier, Willie Green. Exactly. I'm not going for it, dog. I'm not going for it because no, bro. No, because and it's not even just that JB was was supposed to be this offensive coach. And again, if that's the case, then you're an offensive coordinator, right? You a guy that could come in and help direct, like teach some principles and stuff like that. But again, man, like they are not consistent in what it is that they are doing. And I don't know whose fault that is, but it always starts with the guy up top. You can make a clear case that he should have this job consistently. And my only reason previously for saying that he might have had the job or like consider giving him the job is if you was going through a rebuild. And you might not get no new good coach that want to take the job. But again, man, I think you gotta take your chances. This team need a coach that is a champion, that is a championship and a winner and a leader, the coach that will hold the team accountable, bring some respect with discipline. This team, that's what the team need right now. Yeah, they do, but let's talk about that for a second. Pels front office will not spend the money on a championship caliber coach. They will take the cheapest deal we could get. Maybe. Whoa, what up, Chet? How you doing tonight, man? You see Alabama there as well, man. Yeah, Alabama got spanked. But these two comments kind of coincide. Like, again, everybody's been asking, what is the goal? What is the goal? And realistically, Joe Dumars didn't set any precedent on what the goal was when the season started. He didn't say what they were pushing for the playoffs. He didn't say what the win total was. Essentially, he just came in and said, essentially, I'm observing. I want to see what it is that this roster has, what can happen. So essentially, year one has kind of been a wash. Nobody knows what the goal is. We don't know if the goal is to play the rookies. We don't know if the goal is, because if they came out and said, right, we pushing for that 10 seed, you would be like, why are you not playing the veterans? Right? Like, why is Zion, JP, and all of those guys not playing extended minutes? Or you would say it's the same thing, man, with the two timelines thing. Something you gotta pick a path, you gotta pick a lane. And it could be that, and it also could be they just not good. That's one thing we do know, that they just not good. I really think you just need someone that hasn't been a career loser. It's nearly impossible to overcome players and coaches that only know losing. I agree. That was my main thing. I think in one of the episodes we probably talked about is just like, bruh, you need somebody in the building that knows how to win. Whoa, what's good, bro? Like, somebody got to come in this bitch and just be like how they used to say Michael Irvin used to cry for losses. Anybody that was happy with a loss, and you get conditioned to losing. So I understood when Joe Dumars came in and he was like, man, Fizz and Queen, winners. They have that winner mentality. They fighting to the end and all of that. Like, you want to cultivate that, but not with somebody who realistically, strategically hasn't figured out how to consistently win in the NBA. And it's not that James Borrego like doesn't know the game and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's kind of like you need somebody who's accomplished something, right? And I think that's where it's going to start. Like, before we get into the roster stuff and all of that, because I look at it this way, you see good coaches win with bad rosters. Now, what level you could win, you know what I mean? That might matter, right? Like, if you don't have the best roster, you're not winning no championship, but you ain't trying to be no championship coach. You ain't trying to be no championship team. Like, realistically, they ain't never been in the tax, man. Like, so they're not even really talking about championships. But just to be a consistent, like, contender in the regular season, right? I ain't even talking about 6 seed, like 6 seed and up. We ain't talking about competing for the 1 seed, like, just to be fighting consistently for 7 or 8. Like, we've consistently been battling for like 9, 10, right? And that's like, it should be evident at this point. And a lot of people talk about the money. That's the thing. Gail did left Griff play stand $8 million, so I don't think they will go for the cheapest coach. I think you get one higher. They're gonna be willing to break the bank on, especially when you do them the solid of the first season, because they did the solid of keeping Willie and then JB, right? Like, they did the same thing with Alvin Gentry. They kept Alvin Gentry when they should have let him go. I was telling people, as soon as they hired David Griffin, I'm like, Alvin Gentry getting fired at the end of this season, right? Like, everybody knew what was coming, and then they ended up doing it against Stan, and then they got bullied into getting off Stan too soon. So, man, we put out the list of coaches and stuff. I have no clue what it is they're gonna do, but I do think they'll be willing. I think they're going to be willing to spend the money. It's just gonna be interesting to see. I think the next month, right? Because we got January and the trade deadline is February 5th. I think the next month will kind of tell us what it is, that somewhat of what the goal is. Like, if they decide to sell people off, then it's kind of like, all right, at some point, JB probably not going to be here. And at some point, we're going through the rebuild, they're going to do the thing. If they try to acquire talent, which I don't know why they would, but it could be something that they consider, if you just want to I don't know, look in the next year. Maybe you consider keeping some of these pieces. Who knows? But like over the next month and a half, I think we'll find out somewhat of what the goal is. And then by the summer, you'll have a clear distinction of what you're doing. And then should you be even entertaining this team going into 26, 27? Because if they come back with majority of the players and James Borrego and like let's say they one or two pieces, you already know what it's gonna look like. In the game we've lost to Dallas, Memphis, the Bulls, Phoenix 2 times. It's really difficult to argue that those teams were better roster-wise. Led double digits in the fourth versus Memphis and Dallas, led in the fourth versus Phoenix. This is Willie Green all over again, realistically, if you think about it, because it just looks a little different. Like Willie Green used to have losses that like they were like demoralizing kinds of losses. Like you would be up 20 and end up losing by 20 type losses with Willie Green. Like it would just be really disturbing and like hard to continue. Like those losses snatch your heart, right? The JB losses are like it's just like, oh, a move here, like, or a play there, or a rotation here. Well, that was a questionable call. Or why would you use the challenge here? Like those types of decisions where it's kind of like you still probably could have won, but realistically, you shouldn't have lost. Like that's kind of where it is. Like you're finding ways to pull losses out of games that should have been victories. And that's just it's gonna be a multi-year approach talent-wise, I think. But I think Borrego is gone. Really shouldn't have been this bad, even with the roster shortcomings. Yeah, no, absolutely not. I think I agree that I think Borrego might be out. You know, it's crazy because before the 5-game losing streak, which has happened over 2 weeks now? Over the last 2 weeks, people were shouting out, remove the interim tag. And I'm like, dog, it's way too soon to remove the interim tag. Like, remove the interim for what? You got the rest of the season. Now, again, they could maybe make a move and then somehow turn it around. But again, I just don't see James doing the things necessary to turn it around. Like, is turning around possible? Yes. But for example, if he was to come out and be like, all right, look, I'm playing Queen Missy and then the two Queen Missy Pool Z Trey, I would be like, that's something that could possibly turn it around. But you don't see that. You see him sticking with some of the same things that are like gonna keep the team limited. Like they're not fully maximized. So it's kind of like, how can, even though you've shown some progress with the offense, like the defense is still bad. And just with the defenses being that bad, we haven't even leaned into like some of the all offensive lineups or some of the things to really counter those. So I just don't know. Like you're gonna see a bunch of the same stuff. You're gonna beat some bad teams. You're gonna lose to the good teams. You just not gonna lose as bad, but you still gonna lose. And that's just the way it goes unless somebody does something dramatic. And with the rookie starting to struggle the way that they are, like a lot of the games that you won is because you was willing to close through Derek Queen. And he was, you know what I mean, offensively was able to do some stuff for you. And now you're not even trying to play through Queen sometimes in the fourth quarter. Now, part of that is on him. But this, like, they asked why they struggle in the fourth. Well, they don't have a consistent way that they play. So how do you know what you're doing going into the fourth quarter anyway? Like everything is just up in the air. JB definitely has blame to share, but we can't make layups, turn the ball over, chuck up awful shots. You got to play the players with injuries. Who you going to play? So this is the thing. The players have not been playing. The players have not been playing well at all. I agree. The players have not been. But a lot of this stuff also is because it's not that they necessarily not playing. I just don't think they're maximizing who they're out there on the floor with. Like if you look at a lot of the lineups that they put out there, like man, in the Chicago game, he had Poole out there with like, I think it was Missy, fucking PV. It was like Missy, PV, 4 other 9 scores basically, And the Bulls like, bet we just gonna deny JP. Like, we know that's the only person that really could get a bucket. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, remove that, remove that interim tag. Like you can't, no, you can't. Like, you need to, I don't know, you need a lot of progress to even consider. Like that, I think he's done enough. I think JB's done enough to lose this job more so than he have an opportunity to win. I don't really think there's anything you could come back. He could do to come back and like win this job, aside from like literally making the playoffs, which looks more and more likely these days. Man, I know, and us Pelicans fans know this team is soft and weak. Is one they lose the games, one smiling after every game. Oh, smiling after the losses. Yeah, bro, that's losing. Listen, they back to doing the shit that I have been talking about. They do not speak. They do not speak and do interviews after losses. Nobody's taking the podium like to take accountability for like when they play terrible and like what technically went wrong. And I understand it's probably frustrating getting your ass beat, but that's part of the job, man. Somebody got to answer. Somebody got to answer for these questions for what's going on out there on the court. Like, and especially when it's repeated, it's the same things over and over. Basic stuff, not getting back in transition, not boxing out, not getting rebounds, not like losing sight of your man, like bad decision making. Like, it's crazy. This is what I've had through the wins and losses. They really don't play the same every night, to be honest. Schematically, they always look different. Memphis, for example, has far more injuries. You've been shouting that out for a while. Memphis has injuries, and they have an identity. And that's the thing. We've been trying to form an identity. We still try. It's a month and a half. We still trying to form an identity. Like, if you coaching a team, you could come out and tell a team, like, bro, do what I say. Like, I know it might not seem that easy, but I feel like it is. Too much freedom. Yeah, absolutely too much freedom of offense. Zion can be 8 and 11 in the third, will end up with 14 field goal attempts. Too many possessions. Well, here Trey's not involved. Just a waste of Zion's limited minutes. I agree. And that's the thing with like with Z, and that's the non-hierarchy stuff. The non-hierarchy like thing is that like it should be when you see Z have it rolling and when you see Trey got it rolling, like it should be priority for. I don't even want to use priority as the word. Like, your entire game plan should be schemed around those players being successful anyway. Like, everything you run, everything you do should be so Z and Trey pool to a degree can be successful. Everybody else supposed to eat off of their actions. You know what I mean? Like, that's typically how like good teams work. With the Suns, everything runs through Devin Booker, and like Book be successful, and then everybody's successful after that. Giannis with the Bucks, Giannis. Okay, Giannis first, and then everything after that. The Spurs, Wemby first, and then everything else. Like, everything is based around the best players. This is one of the only teams where like your best players aren't the priorities offensively. Shit, even defensively to a degree. Like you make like the one thing that kills me the most is I absolutely hate the fact that they switch everything. Like, I hate the fact that they switch everything. Don't fight through screens. Don't play. And like, you might play a little more physical, but I think part of what's going on right now is I think they're losing more hope than what they had when the initial move was made. I think the move was made. It was like, shit, we got JB. We gonna have some initial bumps, but we gonna figure this thing out. And then I think now they're probably like, oh, he doing some of the same stuff that Willie was doing, right? So I think they're starting to lose some of the edge and some of the intensity. During the 5-game winning streak, they had some belief, but again, you ain't even have to have some of the losses that you had before that to where the 5-game winning streak wouldn't have been like. For example, and point this out, JB, I don't know if people know, but like, I forgot who posted. I think Rod Walker posted the stat. And he was like, with Herb Jones, they're 5-5 with Herb, and like 1-12 without Herb Jones. 1-12 without Herb. I'm like, damn, Herb Jones wasn't even closing. Herb Jones not only just being hurt, but like some of those wins, Herb wasn't even closing. So you got wins without Herb closing, but like just not having him. You 1-12. That's coaching, in my opinion. And also, that's not about what other players weren't available and stuff like that. So all of those stats are skewed. But 6-17 is ridiculous. So again, you started off. JB started off with a 5-game losing streak. Happened at the Knicks game. You had Sadiq out there surrounded by guys with 2 to 7 points. So of course they're gonna double him out, bro. So before I get back into the JB numbers, but that's the thing. Sadiq Bey has been, and look, Sadiq at the end of the day has been really good. He's probably been the most consistent player that the Pelicans had all season. But he's still a role player at the end of the day, right? Like he's played like well above what it was you thought you were getting from Sadiq Bey when you got Sadiq Bey in the trade. Dude going for 30. He done won you some games. Like he's done more than enough, right? But again, you can't be going into these games relying on Sadiq Bey. So those moments where you got Sadiq Bey out there with no other offense, it's like, bro, Sadiq Bey, respectfully to Sadiq's game, Sadiq's not a number one. Sadiq's not a number one. You can't go moments and stretches without the game, without having, and we talked about this going into the season, dog. Z and Trey, Z and Poole and Trey. You got to have 2 of your offensive guys on the floor at all times, damn near, for you to have a shot. Like, and I guess you could add Queen into this, but like, I just don't understand what it is that they got going on. Sadiq, my dog, but he think 2002 Kobe some nights to turn around fade with his shots of like turnover. Say, bro, he again with some of the shots that he's shooting, I can't even be mad. I can't even be mad at him. Like one, you got the freedom to shoot him, and then 2, ain't like if you see some of the shots Herb Jones take, right? If I'm Sadiq Bey and I see some of the shots Herb Jones take, I'm shooting some shit too. You get what I'm saying? Like it's going up. But then again, they'll look off Z, and I don't care when people be talking about like, man, well, his game limited is only so much he can do. I don't care. I don't care. Get the man the ball, bro. The dude, like between the gravity and how like dominant he is and whatnot, like, bro, come on, dog. Come on, bro. Play through your best players. That's the way that's gonna make it easy for all of y'all. Herb didn't finish most of the games, and several games he left in the first half. He got ejected in one, he got knocked out in another one, and then 2 of the 4 quarters he got benched. So like, you know, respectfully to Herb, and then not saying that Herb hadn't, like Herb to me had 2 or 3 good games all season. Like the Rockets game was a great half because the first half he was awful. The Warriors game he played well, but they let Moses Moody go for fucking 30, and so that game didn't matter. But like Herb has not been great. But again, I ain't trying to say that Herb ain't been great, because if you could get a nice piece for Herb, or you could get something moving forward for Herb, I'm still willing to do it. I know Zion is on the minute restrictions, but the bad thing about minute restrictions is that when Zion gets going on offense, defense, man, they pull him out the game a minute or 2 later. That's always been the case. But again, like it's the Z minutes, but it's not just the Z minutes, though. Like if you watch the entire game, you'll see multiple stretches of lineup, and people are like, okay, well, who is he supposed to play because of the injuries and stuff like that? I understand, but like we still ain't got players, dog, playing 35, 38. Like, dog, Trey, respectfully, Trey got to see 38 minutes a night, damn near. Like if Queen is my offensive dog, Queen is 20. What is he? 20, 21, dog. Queen got to be seeing, and I don't. Not that I don't care about the defense. The defense bad anyway, and you ain't got no defenders to play. So unless you're gonna go the 2 big route and really try to dominate the boards and slow it down, you ain't stopping nobody. So you might as well again lean into the all offense and play these dudes extended minutes. Why the fuck Trey can't play 38 minutes a game? I want to know. That's just my I don't know. Not saying Ryan's doing his ride is dope. Almost amongst the local there, he seems to be more concerned having to protect Borrego right now. Dog, listen, a lot of people, I still see a lot of stuff coming out about Borrego, and and the numbers and like how how much better Queen is making the players and stuff like that. And again, I think a lot of that is team chemistry, team health, like people like again, like they just kind of figuring out their roles to a degree. Like I still think they're talented players, right? You just put them in somewhat of a better system, but that's not what we talking about with Borrego right now, to be honest. What we talking about with Borrego is the coaching things that need to happen. Like, do you need a championship roster? Do you need a championship roster to be a good coach? Right? Like, if you gave Borrego the Spurs, would they be the 2 seed? Would they have those wins against OKC? You know what I mean? Would they even look like what they look like? I mean, you can't say that they won't, right? You can't say that they wouldn't. So that would be unfair to say. But at the same time, like I haven't seen anything from this particular team from a consistency standpoint that would lend to say that if he did have a better roster, that it would look any different. Because I personally still feel that they're not playing the players that they should be playing right now in the situation that they're in. So, like, even if I gave you a better roster, that don't mean you know how to use it. I don't understand how they aren't spamming Zion actions in the minutes available, especially at the start of the first and the third. Exactly. If Borrego landed the job in Detroit, they'd be fighting for a player in spot, to be honest. And that's where the Borrego thing is. You know what I mean? It's just, again, if he gets to finish the season, which I'm pretty sure they will, because I don't think they're gonna actually hire a coach. I don't think they're gonna hire a coach for the season. So like this is it. And at this point, like again, man, it's a new year. Who cares? But we have a month to decide what's about to happen. And the part that I don't want to happen is that, let's say, because Borrego got this job in November where you was only still a couple games out of the play-in, right? You was only a couple games out of the play-in. Your players started coming back healthy, right? And before the trade deadline, like, is when you really have an opportunity to cut into these leagues. Like, you've had opportunity to close gap on the bottom of the West in the 10 seed or the 9 or whatever it is you're trying to get to, right? What I don't want to happen is he finishes the season and then the last 2 months of the season, where now we know teams are in that, they starting to tank, players not playing, the playoffs have somewhat started to shape out and stuff like that. So then you finish the season strong, and then somebody be like, hey, look how he finished in March and April, right? Oh, well, we got some quality wins in March and April. You was above 500 in March and April, but it still don't matter. Like, you didn't really have a shot. Not that all the games don't matter, but like, it's different because right now, everybody's still competing. Everybody still think they got a little bit of hope. Teams ain't been blown up yet. Like, nothing has happened. So this is when it matters. And this is the problem that I'm having, because again, Chaz points out, let me go back up to this. It's multiple games that you had opportunities to win. Again, the Phoenix twice. Even if you're going to talk about Minnesota, you was up against Minnesota, damn near both times, blew those. So Dallas, Memphis, the Bulls, Phoenix. So Dallas, Memphis, the Bulls, Phoenix 2 times. Let's say one of the Minnesota games, right? That's 6 games, though, that you had opportunities to win. Even if you win 3 of them, right? 3 out of the 6, you in better position. Moving forward. So I just don't know. So like, when he took the job, and this episode wasn't even supposed to be like exclusively about James Borrego, but like, he took the job and immediately went on a 5-game losing streak. And I understand you had some tough comp coming up, but you did a 5-game losing streak. Then you got a W against the Bulls. Okay. Then you went on a 7-game losing streak. Okay, so now you 1-13. At 1-13, it's kind of like because Zion was available for some of those games. Trey was available for some of those games. Most of those games, damn near all of them. Herb was back for a lot of those games. I don't know if Poole didn't come back until the winning streak started, so Poole might not have been available. But you had Z for some of those. You had a lot of your players available for a lot of those games, and you 1-13, right? Then you go on the 5-game winning streak, and it's like, okay, we might have figured some things out, but then you go on another 5-game losing streak where again you got the home and home with Phoenix. You got to win one of those. You just got to figure out how to win one of those. Like winning is like finding ways to win is a real skill. And I just feel like this team is just, when you start losing, you continue to lose. They find ways to lose. And like that's just kind of what it's gonna be the rest of the way. That's kind of what it's gonna be the rest of the way. Again, they're gonna get some, but like now you 6-17, and I like the 6-17. Just even if you had the 5-game winning streak, all the 5-game winning streak with this situation, just say, okay, yeah, you better than Willie. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm ready. I'm ready for it's again. This month, January, is gonna let you know everything you need to know. Also, the possibility, which is why Dejounte is on the thumbnail, the possibility of Dejounte returning. But if you Dejounte, do you want to come back? Well, Dejounte, you just want to play, I guess. But based off what happened in the offseason with the pivot interview and all of that, and then the possible comments from if you listen to the interview, and he was like, I was trying to make a move, right? Like, will you even see Dejounte on the court? Because right now, that depth at PG is a problem. That depth at PG is a problem. And shit, 60 to 70 to 80% of Dejounte might be able to help. But again, you don't know if you're getting Dejounte back in January. Even if Dejounte was somewhat ready, you 8-30 something. Why would Dejounte come back? Like, if anything, like if I'm not getting traded, though, like I might just be like, look, shit, I might just take the whole season. We ain't nothing to play for. We ain't trying to accomplish nothing. You starting the rookie anyway. I ain't coming back off no Achilles injury to come off the bench to a rookie, respectfully. Like I'm just not doing it. Like I got my own stuff. I might as well stay out in rehab to take this money for free. I love Jordan Poole. Once we got him in the offseason, but over the last few days, he has cost us 2 or 3 games with him missing free throws, taking stupid logo threes in a clutch situation. Listen, man, JP is a roller coaster right now. I think JP always had a little bit of that in him, but I think part of it is I don't think there's strong leadership around him. You got to think, man, when he was in Golden State, it wasn't just like Steve Kerr at being a good coach, but you had Draymond's guidance, you had Steph Curry's guidance, you had Clay, you had Iguodala around there. Wiggins had been around for a while. Like they had dudes on there that's like that knew how to win, right? And they probably police themselves. We don't have nobody over here like that. And you need players like that. Like you see DeAndre Jordan trying to do his best, but even respectfully to DeAndre Jordan, it's not like DeAndre Jordan was no championship player. You know what I mean? Like he didn't play on those levels. So like if you JP, like whose whole JP came here and damn near was a leader. But I can't get the start over 19-year-old rookie Jeremiah Fears. Like, no, like I don't think the situation breeds accountability. Basically, is what's going on in my opinion. Like, how are they going to hold each other accountable when like I just don't think they're starting games in like the best situations. Like, fucking right, I'm shooting it. Somebody has to be holding JP accountable for that. But who? Like, who gonna do it? right? Like realistically, let's think about it. Like, I'm not saying that the shot wasn't like the shot and all of that wasn't a bad shot, but again, they do not have a hierarchy on offense to even say, like, for example, in the end of those games, they probably was like, say, bro, listen, we going to stuff, right? Get that bitch to stuff. And if you didn't get the ball to stuff, it was probably beef in the locker room after the game, right? And if you don't get that bitch to stuff, we looking for Clay. This shit here, like, trading them go quarters without getting shots. Z's used to going quarters without getting, not even just shots. These dudes go minutes in the games without getting touches. You being looked off by a rookie? Bro, think about how ridiculous that is. You in your 7th year and you got Jeremiah Fears looking off Z. I'm shooting this over. What? Come on, dog. Come on, bro. You got to think about it. Like realistically, the audacity of one of them, of anybody on the team, to not like damn near force feed Z or Trey is ridiculous. So it's one of those things where it's just kind of like that's why it looks like the way it's looking. And a lot of people are just like, well, Z got the passive demeanor. Z do have a passive demeanor, but at the same time, if I know my best player got a passive demeanor, then it ain't up to him, right? If I'm the coach, I'm like, no, y'all motherfuckers, bro. When Mark Jackson, and this is the one thing I love about like some of the Mark Jackson stories when Mark Jackson got to Golden State. Because Steph Curry like wasn't really Steph Curry until Mark really got there like that. When Mark got there, Mark was letting everybody know, listen, if you do not get the ball to Steph, I will sit you down. If you do not, like, if we not doing everything revolving around this dude, you will not play. Like, that's how that shit gotta be. That's how you gotta establish it. Not like it's never okay. Like, if you gonna look off Trey Murphy ever, like, dog, you might not see the flow for a month. Your season will be over. You imagine, imagine Jeremiah Fears looking off Steph Curry. Come on, dog. Come on. They got to get JP back in the starting lineup. It can't be good for Poole's mentality coming off the bench. It's not just the coming off the bench part, because like I don't think Poole would have a problem coming off the bench, but it's coming off the bench for Jeremiah Fears that's the problem. Like, you ain't coming off the bench for Steph Curry. Like, that's what Ant told Steve Kerr, like, yeah, we're gonna bring up for who? You gonna bring me off the bench for who? For BI? Man, stop it, dog. I'm not coming off the bench for none of these dudes. And I think I just think that's part of the problem, right? We got too many nice dudes, and like it's just a frustrating situation. And I think it breeds the wrong kind of basketball on top of them not being put in the best situations, in my opinion. Like, I do think that JB's done a good job with the offense to a degree, like made it more palatable, made it more free flowing and more up to date. But again, I just don't think when in terms of what it takes to win, I don't think they play a style. I don't think they play a style for them to win. Poole had a few missed shots prior to the final 3 attempts of the Knicks. Even still, I'm okay with them taking the final shot, but that was just an awful attempt to try and get a foul. Absolutely. It was god awful. It was god awful. And JP, and listen, bro, JP know better than that. If you go, like, this is the thing about the NBA season too, and we follow this team, so like we know damn near everything that happened with this particular team. I'm not saying this players is not players around the league that make that specific mistake, but if you go around the league and you watch, it's players making terrible decisions all the time. Right in the clutch, making boneheaded moves, throwing bad passes and turnovers. If you remember, Steph Curry threw a behind the back pass in the 4th quarter of the finals, dog. Threw that bitch clean out of bounds. What you throwing behind the back passes in the 4th quarter of the finals for? I say that to say that throughout the league, players make decisions and stuff like that cost people games all the time. It happens. I understand that. And that play absolutely was terrible. But the reason that he's even in that situation is because, and not saying that they shouldn't have like had the ball in his hand. I'm not saying that necessarily, but there is no like he didn't even have to think, man, it's gonna be hell to pay if I don't get this ball to Zia Trey. You get what I'm saying? Like that's the problem. I don't think they treat the players. I don't think they set the hierarchy up to where you have to respect the players in a way that they should. That's just me. The Pels play your turn, my turn. Yeah, they play your turn, my turn, and they play your turn, my turn and the main thing I thought was with Borrego again, and you do see some good plays, you do see some motion and stuff like that, but it's still too much isolation, right? It's too much isolation. Like they have too many stretches of just not moving the ball, not one more pass, like, and at this point, again, you into the new year, right? So the season started in October, November, December. You at October, they start pretty much at the end, but like training camp and all of that. You damn near been playing for 3 months now. You should know the mentalities of your players. Fears is a scorer, dog. Fears is a scorer. You need to have that dude in a mindset and in a position, which is why I'm like, he need to come off the bench where all he can worry about is scoring. We need somebody to score off the bench. Perfect. Come off the bench, dog. Go kill whoever's in front of you. Go kill whoever's in front of you. But no, he's got to start, go against the higher level competition, right? Because when you starting against, you starting against Shea. You starting against fucking Steph. You starting against all of the top players in the league as a 19-year-old rookie. And you trying to figure it out while still trying to play your game. So when it's hard, right? Like when the game is hard, what you think he thinking? Shit, I'm gonna rely on what got me here. I get buckets. Put the man, imagine when Fizz is in the game, if he came off the bench playing against other bench players, like if he was on another, whoa, appreciate you, bro. The pod, appreciate you. Gotta get check go Pels. Hey man, anytime, dog. Make sure you subscribe, follow, whatnot. You know what I mean? We gonna be tapped in, locked in for the rest of the season and the off season going forward and everything. Appreciate you. But imagine if, let's say Fizz was on a different team, right? And y'all know how like our second player off the bench, like our backup point guard is Jose. Like imagine if Fizz got subbed in and he had to go against a player like Jose. You know what I mean? If you going up against the backup point guards a majority of the teams. It's not to say that he would win the battle every time, but you will probably look a lot more efficient. You will probably get your, like if you're going up against backup bigs, you will probably finish better at the rim. You will probably have cleaner looks for your shots. So that's what we talk about when we talk about like maximizing the roster. Like, no, you still haven't tried Carlo and Missy on the floor together. You cannot rebound. You can't rebound. You got to do something. So I don't know, man. Like the one thing I wanted to close with, I guess, because we are a little over an hour in, the lessons that we learned from 2025 going into 2026. What did we take from 2025? The one thing we took from 2025, there was no Willie Green. So shout out to that. But there is also still no coach. And while JB has done a good job, I do not think removing the interim should be a question for the rest of the season, right? Like, I don't think that should be something of a concern for the rest of the season. That's first. Two, we know that we have real questions with the roster to a degree. We got real questions with the roster as well. Like, I think we've all seen enough of the limitations of what it is. And even with the rookies as well as they've played, Queen has shown a lot of me at least has given me a lot of concerns defensively and the motor, right? And that was one of the things about Derek Queen coming out, like the motor and stuff like that. But like we've got enough evidence now to be like, okay, this is a real thing. Extremely skilled. I think he's going to be a really good player for sure. But I don't know if that's like he has to be able to keep it going. You know what I mean? For an entire game, for a month, for 2 months, for 3. Like you can't take nights off, though. Especially when they're trying to play through you and they need you on both sides. But also, I think that's why you need a real 5. You need a real 5 so that dude could go play the 4 and play more of his game. So going into 2026, we got a month like from now to February. Well, technically from January 15th. January 15th, when like those players who sign contracts are available to be traded, to February 5th is what we need to be looking for what's going on for the rest of the season and how they perform in that time. If they somehow look like they're playing well, which I don't know. If they look like they're playing well, you might see them make a more aggressive move. But if they continue on the pace that they on, Willie Green was 2-10. JB is 6-17. Like at 3 months through the season. So if they continue on at that type of pace, you know what I mean, we'll be one of the worst teams in the league. And shout out to you, bro. Whatever direction the Pelicans go at the trade deadline, whether it is winning or rebuilding, whatever they do, what type of coach they should get in the offseason to fit this team. I really don't think they have an idea. I think they're gonna my opinion, I think they're gonna finish the season. I'm of the mindset that they, unless something falls into their lap, I don't think they make any like significant trade during the season. Like nothing that matters. You might see Jose get moved, you might see Hawkins get moved, something like that. But I don't think they make any move that's significant. Wait to the off season. So honestly, I just think we about to coast through the rest of this season, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And then to come the off season, we'll see then where they stand. So I don't know, but man, I appreciate y'all for tapping into this episode, man. Pels and Blender, we are hour and something, man. Happy New Year to everybody. You know, if y'all, hopefully y'all enjoyed y'all Christmas. Hopefully everybody was safe. For y'all New Year's Eve and stuff like that. We gotta. Whoa, what's good, bro? Yeah, dog, you gotta hit me up. You gotta hit me up, bro. Anytime. You already know that. But David Griffin turned down a first. David Griffin turned down a first for Jose. David Griffin made a lot of terrible decisions, bro. A lot of terrible decisions. And like we gonna have to like that's an episode in itself. How David Griffin, matter of fact, that might be one of the next episodes. How David Griffin and his bad decision making and indecisive self really put us in the position that we're in right now. Because if David Griffin don't miss on some of his draft picks, or don't or make moves, or some of the 9 moves he made, you probably wouldn't be in this situation today. But remember, this is the same team that said, you know, we too good for Karl Anthony Towns. We was too good for the Trae Youngs of the world. Shit, we ain't even want Kevin Durant, respectfully. You know what I mean? So maybe putting that type of energy out there is why we in the position we in now. But 2026, moving forward, we'll see what happens. All y'all, just like my dude Jaden say, y'all have a good night, man. We gonna get out on that one. Pels play tomorrow. They got the Blazers. And again, I can't ever predict this team to get a win, so I won't today. Not sure what it looks like. If they do win, I'll be surprised, but yeah. If they turn this 5-game losing streak into a 6-game losing streak, we'll see from there. Hire a coach who has a system and a plan. If they could get into the draft, scout and run, protecting big. Yeah, you got to hire a coach, but at the same time, like you hire a coach and then let him decide. I'm still trying to get Ware. Right now, that's my only goal for the season. If I could get Ware out of Miami, I would consider this whole season a win, to be honest. If I can end up with Ware, Fears, and Queen moving forward, I feel like I won. So that's my goal for 2026. That should be the Pelicans wish list. Go get Khalil Ware. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all have a good night. Happy New Year again. Pels on the building. I'm A. Davis. Shout out to y'all. Peace.